Well, despite a growing public perception that college athletes in revenue-generating sports should be compensated beyond their scholarships, NCAA President Mark Emmert reaffirmed Wednesday that it is not going to happen on his watch. In football, 45% of the athletes are minorities. That is a factor in this debate. And joining us to talk about the resistance is Sonny Vaccaro, former sports marketing executive and supporter of compensation for student athletes. Thank you so much for joining us, Sonny. Sonny, are you there? Okay, well, we'll try to get Sonny. You're watching Arise America. We now have Sonny Vaccaro, who will join us to talk about the issue of pay-to-play in the NCAA. Sonny, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Now, what do you think is the basis for Mr. Emmert's decision not to move forward with any kind of a proposal or a platform for paying his athletes?
Well, first of all, no one wants to pay the athletes. Mr. Emmert and his predecessors have misused that phrase too often to let it slide by. No one wants to pay the athletes as a paycheck. What the lawsuit involves and what other arguments have been, just factually, has everything these athletes have done over the years, they have never been duly compensated for. And then the terms would be once their class has graduated or whatever, however determination they want it, these kids should be remunerated. And as far as the antitrust saying that there's no legs to it, well, a judge did say that individuals can do what they want as far as the images and a lot of other things. So that's not what we want, but what I'm hoping comes out of the Urbana case and other legal matters is that the athletes are duly recognized as, basically, if they don't want to use the word employees, they are such, because so much money has been made. The the athletic structure in college sports has grown 1,000%. And any other level in American society, it would be such.
Now, you talk about the O'Bannon case, and for viewers who are watching who don't follow sports as closely as we do, this was a basketball player whose image was used without his permission by the NCAA when they sold their rights to EA Sports for that year for a video game. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That was the genesis of this particular suit when a past player, MVP of the NCAA championship UCLA team, for years on end, after he had graduated and left UCLA and started a whole new life, some in a pro, some in where the job he's presently in, they continue selling it. Not only the EA Sports game, but also the video of that particular game or games during the tournament that year. And they just cash in on Ed and all his teammates and everyone else who is involved in these highlights and these films. Now,
part of the common chatter in this discussion is how much the NCAA makes from its sports programs. What is the newest number? And give us the balance wheel. Obviously, the players make none, but what do the institutions make, and what does the league make overall?
Well, basically, you have to understand the one common thing. I can't give a number because they don't even tell you what the heck they make as employees, all the NCAA. But what you can see is, a facility being built in Indianapolis that houses nothing but the NCAA and their people who work within the system. What you see are conferences and conference commissioners become very, very wealthy over the use of the games that are played by the athletes. I mean, you have the Southeastern Conference, the Big Ten. I don't want to go over that all with your audience right now, but you have seen numerous individuals and situations that support the athletes' games support. And the one thing I want to make to your audience right now, do you understand that when Emmert said something today, a few people are sort of like, causing this unrest, about all of college athletics. Now, college athletics in the purest form, Division 1, 2, 3, however you look at it, it is a thing that the individuals want to do, pursue, playing the game for the love of it, not so much be a professional. But what Mr. Emmert and his predecessors have never said, a few athletes, the ones in football and the ones in basketball, support the whole cause. It's almost insane to allow that structure to be carried out.
Well, the NCAA would argue that you wouldn't have support for other sports like lacrosse or field hockey.
Isn't that interesting? Because if you wouldn't have the football or the basketball, teams playing and selling their rights and images, you wouldn't have lacrosse. And these sports have been existing for 1,000 years, just so we understand that. They're not going to go under. But that's my point, sir. My point is that all this aggravation that they've caused about the individuals who play football and basketball is ridiculous. Basketball players support everybody. Say these people, after they've already played their sport or did their duty to their school, it's it's mind-boggling. Just stop and think what I'm saying. Emmert said that would undermine the whole lacrosse and tennis and everything else, which I understand. That these kids are on a whole different level because there's very few professional teams in lacrosse and that. Getting past that, the bills are being paid by the men that they sell the images. They don't sell the images of the lacrosse team, not being negative on the lacrosse team because you mentioned that sport. My point is the individuals from the football and the basketball teams and the football players, just so we understand, they make deals with their conferences, who make deals with the television networks, who make deal with this thing called the BCS and something else now, where individual promoters promote bowl games, and they all make money. Does your audience know that the promoters of the Chick-fil-A Bowl get $600,000 and the other guy gets $500,000, and they're using college athletes? See, that's the story that Emmert and his people don't tell the public. Money is being spread everywhere here, and they're denying and making fun because they also so arrogantly say, well, they're getting $100,000 or $200,000 value scholarship. That is not true either, sir. Because the value financially of an in-state student at a state university is quite different from the value of a scholarship to Harvard or Yale. It's just logical that the state schools have different things for in-state athletes.
Sonny
The numbers are
Vaccaro.
all given to the public by the people who are protecting their own butts.
Sonny Vaccaro, sports analyst, thank you very much for your insight on this issue. I'm sure we'll be talking again since it's not coming to an end anytime soon.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoy it.